Okay. So what's all this mean for our new economy? Stacy, we take this story a bit further.
Good news from the markets. They've had their first three-day winning streak since August. Wow, we'll take what we can get. Everyone is hoping to limp into the Thanksgiving weekend quietly. However, the crisis facing the economy won't be taking any time off. Joe Krier is president of Krier Financial, here to discuss this week's developments and how they apply to you. Good morning to you, Joe.
Hey, Stacy.
Should we be happy about this three-day winning streak?
Hey, we'll take it. You know, anything we can get at this point.
Well, is it sustainable?
I wouldn't necessarily call it the beginning of something great.
Yeah.
It could be, but there's kind of light activity out there. A lot of Wall Streeters have kind of headed off to the Hamptons or wherever they go for Thanksgiving. So, you know, when you see these up days, you really want to see a lot of activity. It's been quiet, but, you know, it's good stuff. We'll take it.
Let's talk about President-elect Obama's transition team. Treasury Secretary nominee is Tim Geithner. A lot of people say this is a good guy. What do we know about him?
Yeah, you know, this is a pretty good thing. Last week when we talked, we said, hey, he needs to start naming people. Geithner's been right in the mix here. He, Bernanke, and Paulson are the ones who've engineered most of what's already been proposed under President Bush. Some of those names you can see up there, Bear Stearns, Lehman, AIG, and Citicorp, those things didn't quite go as well as people would like, but most of the blame's been put on Paulson. So Geithner kind of comes in with sort of a clean slate, and hopefully he can make the most out of it.
Consumers got a boost yesterday from the feds with another package aimed at them. Let's talk about this, because this is another bailout plan to the tune of possibly up to $800 billion. So far, U.S. commitments out there, $7 trillion. Yeah. And when I say U.S. commitments, that's a commitment to try to boost the economy.
Sure, and it's pretty huge, you know, and a lot of people are asking me, saying, hey, are these guys just printing up money and putting it out there? Well, it's a little worse than that, actually. They're borrowing money by issuing Treasury bonds. The good news is they're issuing those Treasury bonds with extremely low interest rates. They're taking the money and they're going out and buying some of these loans off of banks and credit card companies, and, you know, assuming that not everybody defaults on those loans, the federal government could end up making some pretty good money off of this.
Specifically, they're buying loans from Freddie and Fannie. I mean, haven't we done that already with the $800 billion bailout plan?
To a certain extent, but, you know, what they're doing here is when you go out and get an auto loan, let's say, the company that lends you the money turns around and sells it to a third party. Because everybody is so scared right now, there's no buyers for those auto loans just yet. The federal government's going out there, they're buying auto loans, student loans, small business loans, credit card loans, and the idea is to get those kind of cogs in the machine working again so that the entities that make those loans are willing to lend money once again.
And you kind of have a hand in real estate. I mean, you talk to a lot of people who are knowledgeable about that part of the business. What are they saying? Is anything moving? Any houses moving at all?
Very little, you know, and if you know, dial it back a couple of years, you're talking about people buying real estate as a second and a third residence.
Just like that.
Yeah, well, we have to get back to the point where people actually need a house before they go buying it, or they need a car before they go out and buy it.
But will the financing be there if they want to go do all that stuff?
I think it will for the right situation, okay? It won't be a person who's you know, borrowing enough so that it's going to take half of their income to make payments. It's going to be more reasonable like it used to be. You need a car, okay, we can allocate 5% of your income to making car payments. And, you know, that's the system just kind of resetting itself here.
All right, Joe Krier giving us some insight on the new economy. If you've got a question for him, call him 296-8138, or he's got a weekly commentary. Send a request to Joe Krier at KrierFinancial.com. Bruce is standing by with some of